1. To prevent calls from this facility, press 9. This call is from a corrections facility and is subject to monitoring, recording, and the location of your phone will be obtained. For more information about our privacy policy, please visit www.connectnetwork.com. After the beep, press 5 to accept this call. This call is from a corrections facility and is subject to monitoring, recording, and the location of your phone will be obtained. Stay on the line to accept this call. Thank you for using GTL.
I don't consent to recording of this call. Good morning. I apologize for calling on a Sunday morning, but I was just blessed with an ability to get a phone call, and it was either take the opportunity now or not.
I'm glad you did. Not a problem. I did communicate with Pat. I actually talked to her for a few minutes. She's going to try to deal with the trailer. She loves you, and she wishes you a happy birthday. And I'm trying to think of anything else. I think that's about it.
You told her about my dad?
Yes.
Okay, I got through to Jonathan yesterday for 1 minute on one of his alternate numbers. Sue's okay, but as you know, she's got restrictions. She can't communicate with anybody directly. But he says so far everything's looking good. Also, I sent you a letter over 2 weeks ago. I've also sent a letter to the true man. I don't know if he's gotten his letter or not. You obviously have not gotten a letter from me.
I get so many. Yep.
It would have been a brown. It would have been a brown envelope with a CD in it.
No, I have not. I have not got that.
Okay. Basically, the CD that they gave me with the audio recordings is what I sent you for sharing with Sue, because that's pertinent to her as well as me.
Okay.
But I guess I don't know if you've been able to get them and upload them or not from the other site where they've apparently got access to all this stuff. Had I known they were already out there on the internet, I wouldn't have sent it. But
okay.
I thought it was important for people to hear what I'm dealing with in the court.
Yeah, I thought I haven't listened. There's like 4 hours, and I've listened to portions of it, and it is very powerful, man. You're making a hell of a stand. It's almost like watching spiritual warfare go onto that courthouse. It's like, a battle of good versus evil. But from what I've heard, it's very powerful. We do have about 4 hours of it up on YouTube. It's a very long video, and I did get.
Okay, so how did you get the audio?
I got it from that freighter dude.
Okay, good deal. Okay, that's a good deal.
Okay.
Look at it from this standpoint. Every time they stand up and they point their fingers and they demonize and try to throw out ad hominems and say nasty things about me, they are exposing who they are and who they're working for. What they're doing is exposing their criminality and their evilness. They are basically acknowledging that the government is corrupt, because all a person has to do is look at the fact, I'm giving out facts, I'm giving out truth, and they're playing everything as though it's a game. Even the district public defender's appointee said to the effect that, this is how Mr. Parsons is playing his cards. Everything is a game to these people. If you listen to the nuances, listen to the way they talk, the code that they use. In one of the last petitions that the U.S. Attorney provided, where they lied and said that I had a laptop in my room with a thumb drive that I destroyed and or flushed, which is not true. It's a bunch of lies. He says the ball is in Mr. Parsons' court. He has the next move, and so forth. They're using gameplay analogies. To them, this is a game, though it is my life and Mrs. Parsons' life and the lives of all these other people that are being railroaded, that are at stake. They view it as a game. In the reality, they've never answered the question, my petition to the court, I've asked this court-appointed attorney, what rules is the court operating under? What rules are they under? What form of court is this? If you don't know the rules that they're under or the form of court, you don't know what kind of game they're playing. And that's the magic. You're not allowed to know the game or the rules to the game because they're making it up as they go to a degree.
Yeah.
To a degree. Now, there are some rules that they have to go by. If there weren't, they would have taken me to trial a long time ago. They wouldn't have cared about anything, right?
Right.
So apparently there are some rules. They're just not going to tell us what those rules are.
Have you heard of the DiMaia Supreme Court decision? Have we mentioned that? Have I mentioned that at all?
You mentioned it, but I haven't read it. It was something having to do with people getting harsher sentences for vague types of what they declare to be violent crimes.
Yes, and I don't know if it applies to you, but I'm telling you that it appears that a lot of the prisoners that I'm advocating for seem to think they're going to get out of prison within the next 6 months or so, maybe less, because they're going to file a 2241 on the DiMaia Supreme Court decision because their crimes are vague, and it's supposed to do with the term crimes of violence. But anyway, I'm going to try to collect some of these legal briefs, and if I get any, I'm going to send them to you.
I've read the very smallest, finest print. When the Congress passed that 1968 Gun Act, I read in there what their views were. Their views were to stop gun trafficking, which is the shipping of large caches of weapons across state lines for nefarious purposes. And it says in there, it is not intended to affect rifles or shotguns. It says that repeatedly. It is not intended to affect rifles or shotguns. They're saying in there that the law is not intended to affect rifles and shotguns, and they're claiming what they found in this plane was a rifle.
Wow.
And if you look up what is the definition of a firearm under the IRS provision, it's not a rifle. They don't classify a rifle a firearm if it's got a barrel that's over, as long as it's not shorter than 16 inches.
And that's one of the charges they're trying to bring against you, right?
Under the Rod Class case, he got his case thrown out because the definition of a firearm in his case didn't fit what he had.
I see. Wow.
That's why I've been asking for that case. I've tried to get a copy of that, his original pleading, his original motion to dismiss, all that. If I can get access to that, then I can review what he did, and I may be able to use it. I don't know. What I'm standing on is the fact that the court doesn't have jurisdiction because the supreme law of the land, the Constitution, says in Article 3, Section 2, all cases affecting ambassadors goes through the Article 3, Section 2 court, the Supreme Court, and it's not up for the judge, it's not up for the prosecutor, it's not up for anybody to determine if I'm an ambassador or not. It says in their own law, irrespective of recognition by the United States, and the United States is a corporation, as reflected in Title 28, Section 3002, under definitions for the judiciary and judicial proceedings. United States means a federal corporation. It's a business. And as it stands, United States doesn't have the ability to declare me to be a ambassador or not. It's the sending country that declares my status. They've declared me an ambassador. So all this country can do is send the court. All they can do is send it up to the executive branch. The executive branch has the authority to recognize me or not recognize me. And if they don't recognize me, they have to put it in writing. It's not up for them to put an affirmative recognition in writing. If they don't respond at all, it makes it as though, okay, I'm still an ambassador. The court has no jurisdiction. It's only when the executive branch says, we don't recognize him. And it takes a presidential, because see, when I read through this stuff, I have to take my credentials to the president in a credential ceremony. And obviously that hasn't happened. But that doesn't negate me being an ambassador. I'm still an ambassador by virtue of the fact of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations and through the Montevideo Convention, Article 3, is they have a right to do whatever they want to do, appoint people in their government. Their courts have the same authority as any government. And I talked to this court-appointed lawyer on Friday that's wanting to, he's never offered me any counsel. He's never said anything at all to help me in my case. He's doing nothing, I believe, other than gleaming information for the benefit of the United States. I have no doubt that this guy is, he's either being used by the other side or he's complicit in part of it to glean information. But regardless, I'm standing on the truth, and the truth is that I'm an ambassador of a foreign country. Whether you like it or not is irrelevant. He says, but I've never heard of that country. I said, it's irrelevant. It says right here in your code, under Title 18, Section 1116A, number 2, it says, irrespective of recognition of the United States, a foreign government, it gives these definitions. And it doesn't matter whether the United States recognizes you or not.
Yeah, that's powerful, and it's a real shame this guy's ended up, taking the position that he has. I'm not
a lawyer.
Yeah.
I'm not a lawyer, but I can read the rules. You give me a rule book for any sports game out there, and I don't watch sports. I used to compete competitively for years in basketball, so I have no interest in watching other people. If I can't compete, I'm doing something. I'm living my life. This is
right.
I'm not a sports fan.
I understand.
But these people are spectators, and this is like a game to them. And when you take a guy who has no physical competitive ability at all, and he's in a battle of wits, the only way he can defeat another man whose wits he does not understand is to deny him access to the rules, to not know the form that he's in. And that's what they're doing. They're denying we the people access to know that this is not a constitutional court of we the people. It's a corporate creation by the Charter United States of America since, 1868, I believe.
Well, what you just said is very powerful. Ed, when I speak to Ed Brown, he reminds me over and over again, never use the word government to refer to these people, refer to them as a corporation. And he's trying to get the word government completely out of my vocabulary.
Yeah, and he's right. He's got it, and he's right. And when I read a document a guy got here, he's got a accounting ledger where it talks about how much money this county government has assigned, but it made it clear that it says, we have not charged the trust yet. They pointed out in there, they have yet to charge the trust. What trust are they talking about? It's this trust that's created from your birth certificate and or Social Security, whether it's a Social Security trust or the SESCUV trust, I don't know. But I know that they're deriving funds from a trust to pay for all this. And then it's called double dipping. They're charging the taxpayers too. The taxpayers are paying $100-something a night for this hotel, but the trust is extracting money too that's supposed to be there to pay for us to not have to pay for anything because they've stolen all the lands from the people. They've hijacked this. It's basically piracy.
Yeah.
What we're dealing with are pirates.
Yeah.
In the purest sense, they've committed treason upon the people of this nation and the Constitution, and
You have 60 seconds.
Hey, Mike, I've called Stanley Stump a few times, and every time I call him, I cannot get through. I've tried, so I wanted to let you know that.
Who's that?
Mr. Stump, Stanley Stump.
Okay, do me a favor if you can. If you can contact Brandy, if she or somebody can take that stuff, if it's not safe to put it at the farm, which it's probably not, if Brandy can store it at her mother's house, that would be a good thing.
Okay, Pat told me that she wanted to try to deal with it first before I contacted Chip or Brandy. Pat said to let her try to deal with it.
Okay, see if she can get it stored at somebody's place where it'll be safe, and I need a list of what all's on that trailer.
Yeah. Okay, I'll let Pat know, but she said she wanted to try to deal with the situation before I even contacted Brandy or Chip.
She's got until Tuesday. Mom's planning on having it moved by...
You have 1 minute remaining.
God bless you.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
All right.
Tell Pat that I love
Thank you for using GTL.